about his life.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is, and there's like 8 chapters. And
Oh, mm-hmm.
think I was gonna go live with those and do maybe like
Yeah.
two
It's
because they're like 18-20 minutes a piece.
I think they're well, I think it's perfect because it kind of tells his story. I've seen them all, but he's such a good storyteller.
Hmm.
The accent doesn't hurt.
Mm, that's what I forgot to do. I was gonna upgrade my StreamYard so I could get this damn duck out of my corner.
Oh yeah, I did that like pretty quickly when I got serious about YouTube. Um,
I should have done it. I don't know why I
yeah,
did.
I pay for I would. Well, what editing do you use software?
Clip champ. Hey,
Oh,
Crystal.
what up? What up? Uh, yeah, I use CapCut and I love it honestly, but it's definitely worth having a pro so you can do like all the cool shit.
The fun stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like learning one new thing every week or so.
Yeah, it took a minute. It definitely took a minute. It can be it's like we were laughing in the reaction group or whatever roundtable group about like when we first started we always had audio problems. Like everybody always had audio problems always. It was terrible. And I had just something in here was not set right. Like it wasn't set to stereo audio or something. So all my videos sounded like they were underwater. It was insane. And it was like I got so much shit for it. It was frustrating. But we MacGyvered it and figured it out.
If I could remember to plug in my headphones every time, I'd be stress free. But
I just keep mine plugged in.
I still have the issue all the time.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? What's up, Patriot? We're gonna give people a few more minutes to jump in, and then we'll kind of start going through it. And I
What's
figured
up,
we'll just
Patriot?
watch it again together.
Heck
So,
yeah.
and then I
That's
got
so
some,
good.
I got some notes. I nerded out on this one. So,
He took notes.
uh-huh.
That's
I
good.
was I was all up in it.
I like taking notes so I don't forget because I will forget. But luckily, I don't know. I didn't really need the lyrics, but
Yeah, it wasn't. There
it was
wasn't
pretty
like a lot of.
straightforward.
It wasn't very much over the head stuff
Mm-mm.
within the song. It was very straightforward, but I noticed callbacks, and I'm sure there was probably some that I missed because I'm kind of new to Ren,
Yeah.
or 5 songs in, and I caught some throwbacks to earlier songs like
Mm-hmm.
what was it, the hope is the rope that
The high Ren.
uh yeah, the hope is the
Yeah,
rope
yeah.
that choke a bitch pale. Ooh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna get
yeah.
demonetized right now. That
No, you're not.
was a lyric.
It
That
takes
was
more
a
than that.
lyric, YouTube.
Oh, what up, Hydrate?
Don't hate, hydrate. Hey, what's up? Damn, you're about to be
That's
mad
good.
because I'm about to
I'm hydrating right now.
I'm about to toast with
Dehydrate.
my apple juice. This is apple juice, YouTube. To KUJO's dead body.
Yeah. Oh, so funny.
They make
Yeah.
apple juice really strong these days.
It's a
Hold
spicy
on.
applesauce. It's like apple cider. It's spicy.
Pause. What did I say? Yeah, the pendulum line. Yeah, for sure. Crystal side got my pineapple Fanta. Okay, we
We
love
love
apple
apple
juice
juice.
here too. Hey, that's what's
That's
up.
good. Pineapple Fanta sounds amazing. I love pineapple.
All right, at about 8 minutes, we're gonna run through his video again,
Yep.
and then we're gonna talk about it. No, I swore I thought it got taken down because um, when I was going back to look at something on the video, I could not find it. I even went to his page to his videos, and it wasn't there.
That's weird.
So yeah, so I didn't know.
Huh.
Got all up in it. Oh, damn, I did say that. My bad. Yeah, I do that.
You got all up in it?
Yeah,
What were you getting up in? What did I
I,
miss? Did I miss something?
I don't know, but I remember saying it. I don't remember what I said it about.
Said I got all up in it. Ren was all up in it. Him and
Yeah,
his Toblerone. If you know, you know.
he
I don't think Justin knows about the Toblerone yet, guys.
Mm-mm.
He will
Uh,
eventually.
I do. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. I think he went kind of light on him. I do though.
Oh, I think he definitely could have gone harder. Like he could have gone meaner, is what it is. Like it wasn't because I don't know that it was necessarily a diss track. I mean, yes and no. I mean, he was going at him, but I don't think it was like traditional diss where like he wasn't necessarily trying to be mean as much as express his emotions through his art about the whole situation and kind of just like I don't know, a lyrical fu, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it had the shock value parts down for sure.
Oh,
As far
definitely.
as bringing out the girlfriend, um, I was just I don't know. I was wanting more out of that part because she's kind of the one that really irks me about the whole situation.
The girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that was my favorite part.
It,
It's
she
so funny.
she bothered me for sure.
Somebody literally left me a comment on my video and was like, "I take it you don't like his girlfriend." Like, I do not at all.
She had the fact that she just flat out lied and like Photoshop to make him look bad is
Yeah,
it's almost worse than him because his is just greed,
yeah,
right? That's his sin there. Hers is
hmm
just a combination of like three of them,
yeah.
and it bothers me.
Which is
I
it was devious. It's like evil in a sense that you would engage, pretend to be someone's like friend or friendly to someone, and then turn around and stab them back immediately. Like you don't even know this dude, really, and and then it's just disgusting. The
but it
audacity.
it shows that they're not that not to be I'll
Not
be
they're not
mean. I
that
don't care.
smart.
They're not smart because
Mm-mm.
any of Ren's fans knows like what kind of person he is from what he portrays, and it's nothing less than a really nice guy. And it was a very
Yeah.
dumb tactic, I thought.
It well, I mean, I knew he wasn't smart from the moment he said no to that deal. Like to have a 50-50 of everything including the master, like that's huge. He would have made so much more money in the long run. So I don't know what the thought process was there if there was even a thought process, but eh,
Yeah, he lost
why
out
would you do that?
on thousands.
Now he's not going to have anything at all.
Yeah, no exposure, no nothing. I mean, he has
No.
exposure, but the wrong
Well,
kind. Hey,
yeah,
Dottie.
not the good kind.
Hey, Mal, 1991.
What up,
Glad
Mal?
y'all made it. All right.
I mean,
Well,
she's in the
we've given
Discord.
enough time. We're gonna
Yeah,
jump into the video real quick, and then we'll talk about it. I want to watch it again.
I do too.
So, all right. Let's see. All right. Everybody can see it. Can everybody see it?
Throw a thumbs
Hello.
up in the chat.
Okay. 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 Making sure.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The person who is rightly doing right, who is right there on the righteous path, no wrong in words I write, but the forces out that test me when I'm trying to find the path to forgive all those who test my will. There's trouble in my heart. What the fuck, you little pussy? This ain't highway number 2. This ain't pendulums or songs of hope that can't top from you. And the last time it did this, the hope did prevail. And the hope is the road that will choke a bitch pale. No, no, just wait a sec, cause there's nothing to be gained when you sever the neck. I know the art is a part of your heart, so you're upset, but this hate breeds hate. Please wait, geez, when I'm getting pretty sick, cause the sick boy trying to be the hit boy, trying to be the ain't morally equipped boy. Face it, I'm mad as fuck, friend. Now let me cut this worm in my razor blade pen. Fuck you.
I like that he just like gives in. Fuck it. Prozac. That's funny.
Hi, KUJO, please don't try to struggle. Hear me out. See, I'm take from me, big, then I'll take from you too.
Get her.
Shut up, slut, you said the last. Thought you said you liked it right. Thought you said she liked it rough. You're a bitch, man, what the fuck? I'm confused by this dynamic. Like it's Bonnie and it's Clyde, but the killing you're committing is career suicide. Whoa, guys, you probably think that this is extreme, I won't lie. Maybe just a little bit mean, you know. I feel a little bad about it, really. Nah, I'm only messing, lad. I love to spam the greedy. I hope you wake up sweating from your nightmares, see. I'm the sick boy that you enslaved, free. When you fuck with my work, you might as well bleed. I put my whole soul into my words. Now a little thief, one beef, one steal from me. That's how little thief lose teeth, you meal to me. I'm the subject matter, you a part of the scenery. This is how the sick boy work, you feeling me? Cunt, I'm sick with the pen. I went easy on the doctor, he's a friend, it's Zen. But if I ever hear your mouth speak the name of friend out in public, then it's public, you don't want that again. And no warning for your bitch, your girlfriend too. Mrs. Nice behind the scenes talk. If I ever read another fucking comment from you, but this is only part one, it's even worse than part two.
I love that. Now they're just left in the dark.
All right, so on that preview, the one that came out last week. Whoop.
Go to artlist.io and get the
Wasn't there a different beat?
Well, I would think just the beginning, but I don't think so. Maybe I don't think
I
so.
could have swore there was a certain snippet that he either had on. I don't know. Someone sent it to me, and I swear the beat was different.
But it was him in the jumpsuit.
I think so, but it gave me hope that he has the second one ready, and
oh yeah,
I think he does.
He definitely does.
I would hope so, because just drop it. Okay. Is there anything that you noticed as far as like Easter eggs from the video?
Well, I don't know if I'd call it an Easter egg, but it's very Ren's MO. It's very reminiscent of the Money Game series, which you haven't done yet. So I'm just gonna say that it's like the way the video is very Money Game-esque. So it's like it's a lot of the creativity that's been in some of his videos, but it's always in the serious concept videos, like the ones that have a more serious message to them. So. Oh, you sent it. Wait, is it the same one you sent me?
I could have swore it had like a different style of beat in it. Maybe I'll try to
go back and now I'm gonna have to go back and look at it. But I don't know. I wonder though if there is a second one, if he anticipates KUJO like, I don't know, doing something in retaliation, so he's got it in his back pocket. But
he's going to say something.
Yeah.
Whether it be a post or whatever, I
feel like
I think him or his girlfriend absolutely will.
You
know,
I'm ready for number 2. He did say another song was coming out in 2 weeks though. Like, so I went to the premiere page, like, I don't know, 5 hours before this morning, to get a screenshot for my thumbnail, and Ren was in the chat with other people, and they were just chatting away, like, about the song 5 hours prior to drop, which I thought was cool. So I ADHD'd out and started going at it in the chat and talking to people, and an hour later, I realized I had not made the thumbnail. But he said a bunch of songs are coming out, and he's going to release another song in 2 weeks.
For those of us that weren't in the chat, was there anything else he said? Just the song in 2 weeks, and anything else?
Yeah. Well, he did say that he was glad to put this out, and like it would just be over, and he wanted to move forward. So he did say that, and he actually said he wanted to maybe try and do a podcast with the head CEO or whatever of the BeatStars or whatever, so they could maybe figure out like how to the people that sold the beat in the first place, like, or through the middleman or whatever it was. Yeah. I think, was it called BeatStars or
BeatStars,
yeah.
And that would make sense
Um,
because that just the whole situation still doesn't make sense to me. And I've been thinking about it since the last time we went live, and it just doesn't. I I, I don't get it. I still don't get it. So
oh, about like what happened?
no.
Well, oh,
I get what happened, but where I'm getting confused is so he stole the part from the choir,
hmm
right?
yeah,
He did not inform Ren. He
no,
sold the beat to Ren without informing him.
hmm
They agreed on publishing, right? Which was,
yeah,
to my knowledge, what the agreement was. And then when they come after him for the stolen part, the choir to Kujo, then that's when he decides to want more, which I
yeah.
that's the part I don't
Well,
understand.
so now that I've watched it several times over because I've watched other people react to it, um, so I think what actually happened was that the choir, the Bulgarian choir, actually contacted Ren's attorney because they found it in his song, and the attorney hit up Kujo and said Kujo needed to absorb that because he's the one who sold the illegal sample or whatever, you know.
Mhm.
And Kujo was like, no. But then Kujo apparently wasn't getting the publishing because like the publishers didn't like register it right or something like that. But like once the revenue comes in, like so like how if you're on YouTube you get paid like ad stuff through AdSense, right? Well, it's like that money is sent directly to the publisher and they split the money between the parties. And for some reason it wasn't registered right, and so he wasn't getting like it was in almost like escrow, I think, or something, but
Yeah.
he wasn't getting it. So he was still going to get the publishing, but he could have had his entire publishing taken away just for selling a stolen sample that he didn't clear. So he's lucky he's even still getting publishing, which apparently he is still getting a portion of it.
Yeah. I
So I
guess
don't know.
that's I don't know. That I hope he gets that podcast because I'd love to hear what the CEO has to say.
Yeah.
Um, I did see the pig mask make its return. Uh, I didn't like it. I don't like the pig mask, but I do like it if it's that guy Victus. That's cool.
Yeah, that's
Which
funny.
I'm gonna react to some of his stuff.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that thought the strings? So it went low to high, um, from Ren to his other personality.
Mm-hmm.
Did it not sound like from the movie Us? If you've seen it,
I've never seen it.
has anyone seen Us in the chat? It's a Jordan Peele movie. It was about a
Hmm.
family. If you haven't seen it, watch it. But they do a I Got Five on It remix in it, and it has these really high strings in it, like in the same tempo. And it's just I don't know. I was like, oh, he's seen it. I got excited for no reason.
Oh, that's so funny. Now I'm gonna have to watch it because now I want to know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Um,
it's a good movie.
yeah. Well, it's
But
you know, but you've done High Ren, right?
that
Yeah, yeah,
I thought this was even though he said it. This is not a high Ren part two. It kind
yeah,
of felt like it.
yeah. I think the beginning half was kind of like because he's revisiting that conversation with himself, trying to be the good person he wants to be, but also having this part of him that went through psychosis and was crazy from all the shit he went through, who just wanted to like crush this dude. And he let us know exactly what he was feeling.
Yeah, it was it
Do you have
was
a
good.
man crush on Vic? Vic
No,
said
no,
you have
no,
a
no, no,
man crush on
no.
Vic. I don't know.
I'm only allowed to have one man crush, and that's my boy Ren right now. Um, what did I? Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you what was your favorite line on the song that you can think of?
Ooh, I think my favorite line was when he said like, "I know that the art is your heart, and uh,
Okay.
you know I can understand why you're upset." Like it is because it's like it's even deeper than the anger. Is like that song meant so much to him and was so big that. But I also really love the legally one where he was like, "I put my words in here legally." I love the
Hmm.
shade.
Yeah, I wrote that one down. The art is the part of your heart. That yeah.
Yeah, that
That
one. Yeah,
that
yeah. That
rhyming
one
was
stood
good.
out to me. That yes. The whole thing and just the meaning behind it was it's just really good because it shows that he's still like that part of him, that caring part, but like yeah, he was angry.
Yeah,
Rightfully.
I I do also like that he does poke at himself too,
Mm-hmm.
in multiple songs. Like,
Yeah.
he said, when he said, "I'm the so morally equipped boy," and then he kind of
Yeah,
just
yeah.
ignores it. I thought that was fun. But my favorite part is the hope is the rope that'll choke a bitch pale.
Yeah.
Not not for any, but it brought me back to my favorite line of um um High Ren, right? Wasn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah, yeah.
that's because I think that's what it was actually kind of from or referencing.
Yes, yeah, it was a
Also with the
remix version of
pendulum.
that line, yeah, and
Yeah.
that was my favorite line of that song, and to hear it come back in almost the opposite
Yeah.
way, I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Um, was there any other lines that stuck out?
Well, no, I love the part at the very end though when he starts. He goes, "Fear me," and then he has a verse, and then he says, "See me," and it
Mhm.
goes all the way in through. I don't know, "Free me, bleed me," like just that whole rhyme scheme in there, and then the cadence and the flow, all of that right there was just like, so good.
Let's see. Let's
I
see.
also like how in High Ren, like the good side, the hope side of him wins out in the end. But in this one, it's the bad side that kind of wins out in the end when he's like,
You know.
"F that," and he like goes, he's like, "You know what? I'm giving in. I got some shit I gotta say."
Okay,
So
hold on. I was just about to bring up this line. What does he say? He says, "I'm the subject matter. You're just part of the scenery." I thought that was
yeah,
very much encapsulated the whole song. I
yeah,
like that one a lot.
yeah.
Let's see. I don't know why all my lines are like aggressive, violent lines, but when, when he was what's his girlfriend's name?
I don't know. I don't even know if I knew her name.
Does anybody know what
Well,
the
somebody said
Cujo's
Kai's face. Is that her name? Kai, I
Kai?
guess. So that's my favorite part where he is all up in poor Kai's face, unless she meant Cujo's.
Um, I just thought when he was saying, you like it rough, you ugly, and then and he
Yeah.
or he says
Oh,
that
that was good. Yeah.
and then says it to Cujo and then turns back to her and he's like, I'm confused by this dynamic. Like in a
Oh, the Bonnie and Clyde bar. Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was I love that one with the kill. Almost forgot about that. It's like Bonnie and Clyde, except what you're killing is your own career or something like that. Uh,
Oh
that
no.
was
She said
that
Kai
was pretty
Kai
sick.
is Ren's friend. What
Oh,
it okay, hold on.
oh, I see.
Anybody know Cujo's girlfriend's name? I want to give her absolute credit for
Yeah,
bringing this on herself.
100%. Kai played Cujo, and he was the bassist. Oh, I love Back on 74. Ooh, that is a sexy song. No cap.
I'm assuming I haven't got to that one yet.
No, you will. It's so good. It's a newer one, and it's kind of a mashup of what was else was with Back to on 74, and there was something else. What? It was a mashup. I can't remember. Come on, Megs, hook me up. Career S word.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Yeah. Okay. Hoping this helps other artists in the future from this. Yeah, me too. Hopefully, it
He
shines a light on it. People will be more aware.
Yeah, he will. There's a bunch of people that have reacted to we reacted to him discussing the situation,
Yeah.
and some artists. I was watching a lot of like young guys that were streaming, and they were talking about like they didn't know that could happen as far as beat purchasing, and I
Mhm.
was like, well, damn. And I'm sure he'd love for that to get out to where you need to like,
Yeah.
but it's annoying because this wasn't his fault. That's why it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. He did have multiple uh internal rhyme scheme where he was going I, and then
Mhm.
the R with the jar and he had and the what part of the art part heart, like he had
Yep.
a lot of cool rhyming in there.
Yeah.
Uh He, damn it, I wanted more. I wanted more.
Yeah, that's that's one good thing about Tom is when he makes a song like this that he's angry, it's always really freaking long. Like I think it started out with probably No Response, and that was like almost 6 minutes long, and then it was like Don't Look Down, and that was over 6 minutes long, I think, and then God Mode is like over 8 minutes, like 8.5 minutes, and he cut that down from 10.5 minutes. He took 2 minutes of it out.
Gotcha.
So it's
I,
very satisfying when it's that long. But yeah, I wish he would have been a little bit meaner. I'm not gonna lie. Like he said he thought he was a little mean. Nah, I think he could have been meaner, and I'd have been okay with it, to be honest.
I think the shock value part of it is kind of. I'm sure he went back and forth with himself about uh, the idea of bringing the girlfriend out. I'm
Yeah.
sure because he's a nice. Even when he's mad, he's probably still a nice guy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I wanted him to be meaner, and yeah, I don't, because even in the other his other disses, you can see what he can do,
Mhm.
and I wanted to see some of that in this, but like I said, I think it's just a warning shot.
Yeah.
That's but while also getting out, at least partially what he had to say and
Yeah.
him feeling better about it. But I for sure don't think that's all he has.
Yeah. I wonder if the song he's gonna. Well, I guess I don't know. I feel like he said the song in 2 weeks would be like not a happier song, but like a more positive song. But
Mhm.
like it'd be pretty great if it was part two.
Yeah.
Uh,
But the pig never bothered me. Okay, maybe I haven't heard him explain it yet, so maybe that's why.
yeah. Well, it's the pig represents like the man, the greedy, right? Like that's it, kind of like the symbolism, I guess. And I'm just I'm just gonna warn you when you get to animal flow, just be prepared for more than a pig.
Oh, okay. Let's
Yeah,
see.
a lot more than pig. Like it's, but I think the concept, or at least I was told, was based off Animal Farm.
Oh, that would make sense. That's a great book.
Yeah, and so like I think with the song itself and the video, I think that'll make more sense, give you more context for it. But that is a dope song.
It is, and I don't remember if I did say something like Patriot said, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's the nice guys that because they don't say much, they have all this stuff that they want to say, and they can condense it in a way that comes out pretty disrespectful. But I don't,
yeah. The
I
pig
don't know.
also represents his illness, Mousehead. Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm. Let me think.
greed.
Can,
Oh yeah, Meg said pig, greed, corruption, government, medical industry, all the things.
oh, the seven deadly sins. That's one of the ones I'm getting into next. I did do the hunger, which will be out soon.
Oh, I love the hunger. That's
Yeah,
such a good song.
yeah, I liked it a lot.
There's
It
so
was
many dope bars and like rhyme schemes in there. It's insane. Like,
all right. Can you read some of the chats real quick? I have to go to the bathroom.
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. I can't wait to see that the hunger reaction. Y'all know that's a dope track. I can't wait till he gets to Ills of Our Time though. That's my favorite. That and Genesis. I think those are probably my two most favorite Ren songs, but I also like his cheeky ones, like Uninvited. Y'all, I cannot. I can't wait to see Justin do Uninvited. That shit's gonna be funny. What up, William? Apple juice would do it to you. Legit. He also said the pig is his best friend too. He wouldn't know what to do without him either. That was in an interview. That makes sense. I think when something like that becomes such a big part of your life, it almost becomes a part of you in a sense. But it just becomes part of who you become. Power is freaking good. He posted a clip of that on Instagram or like his socials the other day, and it made me miss that song. I need to go listen to that again. Power is awesome.
All right. Let's see. Knox apple juice will do them to whatever. Yeah, it did. Y'all said the pig is his best friend too. Wouldn't know what he'd do without him either. That was an interview. Okay, that actually brings me to what I was gonna say. You got some time, Lacey?
Yeah, I got nothing
Okay.
to do.
All right, because I feel like this is a lot of just maybe not everyone, but some that aren't as familiar with Ren as some others are. Like me, I'm not that familiar, but he does have a uh, 8-part series where he kind of explains uh, his life and his illness and what kind of brought him to where he's at now. What happened? What happened?
Oh no, I didn't realize that Patriot had never heard of Ren until you started reacting to him. That
Oh yeah, he told me that. Yeah, so
I'm shocked. I'm
um,
shocked.
but yeah, and he has 8 chapters, and
Mhm.
I was gonna start watching them, but I figured might as well do it here, and that way, if anyone that is subscribed to me doesn't know about him, then we can look at it
Yeah,
together. So I have one pulled up. Give me a second, and we will
I
get
know,
going
Megs.
on it.
They were emotional.
All right. And
He actually released all of these before Troubles, which I think you just did recently.
the what?
He released these before Troubles came out to kind of like tell his story, and it led up to the release of the video Troubles, which I think you just did recently.
Oh yeah.
Somewhat recently, yeah.
All right, here we go. It is 19 minutes, so we'll probably just do one, and then I'm gonna do probably 2 a live until we get through it, and then we'll go from there.
Hello everyone. This is the first time I've done something like this before. I wanted to write it down because there's a lot and I didn't want to miss anything. And some parts of this might be a little bit uncomfortable to listen to, but I wanted to stay as true as possible to the story, not miss anything, for the sake of people who might be going through something similar, or for the sake of people who don't, but want to help understand a little bit more. Yeah. I promise that everything in this story is 100% true. Nothing is exaggerated for dramatic effect. Some names I don't mention and some details I don't go too far into or downplay them for the sake of the people around me. Timelines might occasionally be a little bit off, but that's just because I've had to write everything from memory from a time that was quite hazy. I asked before embarking on this journey with me that you all respect the privacy of myself and the people around me. You might be compelled to reach out to some of the people that I mentioned, cast judgment, praise them, criticize them, and I ask you kindly not to. It's my choice to be in the public eye, and it's mine alone. This is the first time my story is on the public record in a concise way. Being in the public eye is strange. The more that I give to you, the less that I get to keep for myself. I don't find the experience of sharing particularly enjoyable. I don't so much like the questions that follow. And I'm not a medical expert, so I don't like to be seen as somebody with all the answers, because I don't have them. And because of the empathy that I feel, I'm compelled to try and help as many people as possible. But the last time I opened myself up to this on a one-on-one basis, I was surrounded by a lot of death, and there simply weren't enough hours in the day. So I ask you, if you need support, please reach out to a professional or use my music as your companion. I share my story in hopes that somebody who needs it finds it, that it provides hope, that it might ease the suffering for the people like me. I like my solitude, so I ask that anyone who respects the work I make and respects my contribution to the world to respect my solitude. A lot happened in my teenage years, and I didn't live the most normal of lives, but I'll save that story for another time. The important thing to contextualize this story is that I was full of life. I was full of a burning desire to change the world. The flaws in how we interact seemed obvious to me. I believed in people's power to change the unnecessary suffering we inflict upon ourselves. I was also enamored with music. Music is the closest thing to God that I have. It's a gateway to the unexplainable, and it's a way of communicating the inexpressible. There's just one moment I wanted to share with you from the years before I got sick. I was 17 and I felt indestructible. I'm not sure why, but my whole life I had this feeling inside myself that I was meant to do something important, not for myself, not for praise, not for personal gain, but something that would change the world for the better. It's hard to describe it without coming across like an egomaniac or having some sort of God complex, but I felt like I had some sort of divine purpose. And I remember feeling this so strongly that one afternoon after school, I stood in the centre of my bedroom and I spoke loud into an empty void. I said that I would single-handedly take on and defeat the forces of evil, and I welcomed them to try their best. Throughout the years, that memory stuck with me, taunting me sometimes. Flash forward to 2019. I remember the first day I knew something was wrong very well. I woke up in an unfamiliar room in Cardiff, feeling like a raven had perched itself upon my heart. Every time my heart beat, it's like some part of me was aware of the foreboding death sentence that was to come. Some sort of primal instinctive dread. Everything felt wrong, and I felt prosthetic, like I could tear my own skin off and observe, though I was watching passively from another room. The night before, I'd been in Cardiff visiting friends in university. It was the end of summer, we'd gone out to a few bars. I wasn't really enjoying myself. That year I'd been struggling with social anxiety, perhaps from years of abusing my brain with a whole pick and mix and selection of party drugs. Engaging with society felt like stepping into the ring with a heavyweight champion. Every single fucking question felt like an oncoming haymaker I had to socially navigate because my very limited toolkit of charisma at the time. I don't know why I cared about being liked so much, but the more I cared, the less equipped I became to have a simple human conversation. I used to deal with this by getting fucking hammered. That night was no exception. I got smashed, lost my phone, and woke up in a strange apartment. In the bed opposite mine was a snoring rugby player and his girlfriend. Everything just seemed off, and it wasn't a hangover. My first thought was I'd been spiked. I quietly gathered all my belongings and left before anyone could wake up and punch me with a conversation. I wandered around the grey Cardiff in the haze, feeling like I'd just been rigged up to an IV bag full of ketamine and cyanide, and the whole world just seemed off, like I was looking at it through a tunnel. A heavy feeling of fear clung around me like a straitjacket. The only comforting thought was with enough time, rest, and water, it would pass. But it didn't. For 8 long years, it didn't. And this is my story of an 8-year-long nightmare. I returned back to my dad's home. He was living with his partner at the time. It wasn't my home.
Hold on, real quick. So I do think he's admitting that. I think there's an importance, like, with admitting that, you know, not that he's not special, but you're not special in the sense of growing up. Like, we all go through the same things.
Mhm.
Especially like as a 17. I'm sure all the guys here can understand, but like probably I'm sure females too. But 16 through 22, 23 age men is like we're almost invincible and have that like unhealthy desire to be, you know, liked
Yeah.
by everyone, let alone the opposite sex. So I did get what he was saying there, and
Yeah.
I think it's cool to start off there because of what's going to happen, and then who we know him to be now.
Yeah.
I just thought that was cool.
Yeah. I think a lot of people can relate to that, being that age and just wanting to fit in and be liked, and you know, and it doesn't always go like that, but I think that's a very common emotion in different levels. But I think it might even be harder for men though, because it's like they have to live up to this kind of like, I don't know. A lot of women, I think, have a fantasy of what men should be, or like the kind of man that they want. Like they'll read a romance novel and think that's real life.
Mhm.
And so, but being a teenager and feeling like that is really tough.
And yeah, we all do have similar. I just think it's important that
Yeah.
he is admitting it and talking about, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people
No.
will be like, "Oh, I was this cool my whole life," or
Yeah.
I was always the man," which
Yeah.
generally isn't the case unless like
Right.
you're a unicorn or
Yeah.
something. But yeah.
Yeah.
And this is my story of an 8-year-long nightmare. I returned back to my dad's home. He was living with his partner at the time. It wasn't my home, so I already felt uncomfortable and out of place. These unusual symptoms persisted. I figured I'd caught some sort of virus and I'd get better with time. But by the end of the week, things were a lot worse. I took myself to the doctor and he said he thought it sounded viral, that if I went home and got enough rest, it would eventually pass. And it didn't. For 8 years, it didn't. I returned for my second year of university. My brain was full of fog and my body felt poisoned. There were intermittent days where I felt like a hollow suit of skin. I'd sit in lectures unable to focus and was devoid of any sort of personality. I'd be able to have basic conversations, yeses and nos, but I was stripped of the ability to think spontaneously. It's like my body was taking up so much processing power being sick that I could not have an original or spontaneous thought. The most peculiar thing about this was there was a me that was aware that this was all happening and was observing it from outside of myself, locked out, screaming silently, banging on the walls of my mind to be let in, and never successfully. And nonetheless, there I was, like a ghost haunting myself. My usual routine was getting home, running the shower and curling up into a ball to cry underneath the running water, not understanding what was going on. I brought myself to the doctors numerous times during this period, requesting every blood test they'd let me have, often being dismissed and told things like stress from university can cause strange symptoms. But how come no one I knew in university could relate to this? Eventually, I was put on a 6-month-long waiting list to see a mental health specialist who did a short one-page questionnaire and wrongly diagnosed me as hypercycling bipolar and put me on a course of citalopram. After a few weeks, it stole my ability to sleep. I was told to stick it out and it would level out and eventually I'd feel more like myself. I stuck it out and I got worse and I pulled myself off it after 2 weeks in a row of sleepless nights and insomnia.
Tired of guessing what's wrong with your YouTube videos? Well, vidIQ has the answers.
Sorry, y'all.
Connect your YouTube
Oh,
channel.
they're gonna. I thought you were supposed to get. Was it?
Hold on, I'll explain that in a second.
Even if you suspect that you're mad, your diagnosis finds a way to claw itself into your identity, even if it doesn't belong to you. Ever since I was a child, I'd always be asking what and why and how things worked. I couldn't really accept things as they were without knowing how. I carried into my adult years, and so as the bipolar hammer crashed and sentenced itself into my reality, I began searching online for behaviors associated with it, people's first-hand experiences, what it felt like to be manic. In these earlier days of my illness, the symptoms would fluctuate in severity day by day. Some days I'd be in the thick, tired fog, and other days they'd be more merciful. I began to associate the days of not suffering as mania and would act more erratically on the days that my symptoms were less bothersome. I did things like climbing out of windows of a 6-story student accommodation or get so drunk I'd wake up outside of the university campus lawn. But it wasn't mania. I just wasn't hurting. I spent 1 day a week with my therapist, who was teaching me cognitive behavioral therapy. The issue was mentally reframing unexplainable symptoms caused a lot of cognitive dissonance for me. I was told my anxiety or depression was causing my symptoms, but in reality it was my symptoms which were making me anxious and depressed. So I was in some sort of inescapable bind. I devotedly work on my mental health, following every new tool for coping to the letter, only to have my symptoms get worse, which made me frustrated, raise the intensity of my treatment, only to get even more frustrated as my body seemed to deteriorate. After 6 months, I told my mum I'd happily saw off my own leg with a blunt knife if it meant my symptoms would vanish, and I meant it. I told her if I had to live with this strange feeling for 1 more year, I'd kill myself, and I meant that too. But something happened that winter which showed me firsthand the horrors and the fallout from suicide. I met Joe when I was 9 years old. I remember the first time clearly. I was standing in his living room when he turned to me and he was like, "Watch this." Then he proceeded to climb on top of his sofa and did a front flip onto a stone living room floor. He landed on his back and lay motionless for a few seconds before grinning, getting up, and then doing it all over again. We grew up terrorizing the streets of the small village we grew up in, playing knock door run or breaking into people's gardens to play on their trampolines. We stayed friends throughout high school, going through various phases together. Joe was comedian of the group. I remember countless mornings after messy all-nighters, Joe would be cracking endless jokes like a professional stand-up routine, and we'd all be in tears laughing. When I started writing my first songs, Joe and Sega were the first people who always knew every word, and they would sing along at the top of their lungs. They gave me a lot of self-belief, and they helped me build the foundation of what I do today, and I owe them a lot for that. That Christmas, I came back home to Wales from university. On Christmas Eve, me and Joe were sat in a pub, and he turned to me, and he told me that he'd fantasized about walking into the sea until he was totally submerged. He had a pretty morbid sense of humor, so I didn't really take him as seriously as I should have. 2 days later, it's 3 a.m., and I get a phone call. It's my friend Ella. She tells me that Joe is on the bridge by my house. He was drunk, he'd called her up, and he told her he was going to jump. I was still half asleep. I fumbled, pulling on whatever clothes I could that were near. And I walked out of the front door, and the winter air stung my face, and it woke me up. Adrenaline kicked in, and I started sprinting towards the bridge. It was about a 5-minute walk, a 2.5-minute sprint. As I was running, I dialed Joe's number, and I get a busy tone, and I felt relief because it meant he was still alive. I kept hitting redial as I ran, and as I got about halfway to the bridge, the busy tone changes. I get an automated voice note saying the number's out of service, and my heart sunk. I got to the suspension bridge that connects Anglesey to the mainland, and it usually looks very beautiful. I sprint up and down the bridge yelling Joe's name, and there's silence, and it's deafening. And I peer over the bridge into the blackness, and the bridge sits about 100 feet above the water. Hitting cold water at that height is like smashing into concrete. And the waters are notoriously dangerous because of the cross current. I hear nothing, no sounds, nothing. I run up and down the bridge about 2 times before I spot a figure at the end of it, and my heart jumps into my throat, and I run towards the figure, and it's my friend Ricky who's had the same call, and we both run around up and down the bridge and around the surrounding area looking for Joe. More of his friends eventually arrive, and there's nothing. I was about a minute too late.
All right. I didn't know if he was like sick or it's just really hard for him to talk about.
Really hard for me.
But yeah, that's tough to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, I still don't know exactly. I need to look more into like Lyme disease and what it does.
Yeah.
Because I don't. There we go. Joe lives forever. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to see people talk about things that are like that emotional to them, even though it in a sense it doesn't feel good, but you can relate, because if you're having a bad time, it's not just me or whatever the case is. Yeah, we're gonna get through it though. I am having
It's hard.
Difficulty watching this. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
We spent the next week walking up and down beaches with flashlights. And when it's that dark, every other large rock starts to look like a washed up body. We plastered all the neighbouring towns in missing posters, contacting whoever we could, someone who might know something. We checked bank records to see if any money had been withdrawn since he went missing. There was CCTV footage of him walking onto the bridge, but there wasn't any of him coming off. But there were dead zones in the footage, so there was still a small chance he could be alive. I was sleeping about 3 hours a night, pretty determined that we'd still find him. For about 10 days, we had nothing. And then suddenly a call comes through while we're all at my friend Miles's house having food. It's the police. A body had been found in the water by the bridge. We powered into my friend's car. I remember being in the back seat in floods of tears, repetitively punching the back of the passenger seat as we drove to the scene. As we pull up, I saw a lifeless body being zipped up into a green bag near a parked ambulance. Its skin was bloated by the seawater, and it wasn't Joe. Someone else decided to jump that day. Joe was never found. It's difficult to truly let go when you can't say goodbye. For months following, I held on to this fantasy that we'd get a call that he'd run away to some European town and he was happy and he was healthy. But that call never came. The time during his inquest was also around the time I was struggling with the side effects of a new antidepressant. I remember sitting in the courtroom feeling like I was listening to the whole thing deep underwater. The judge felt the circumstances surrounding Joe's death didn't mean The judge felt that the circumstances surrounding Joe's death meant that the verdict was left open. It kind of stung even more to not have an official ruling of suicide. I remember going to visit his mum not long after and witnessing the aftermath of a mother grieving for her baby boy. The silence of his father, the tears of his mother. I decided that day that I'd have to wait until my illness killed me because I couldn't do it by choice. I couldn't put my family through that. Over the next 10 years, I returned to my hometown, only a handful of times following Joe's death. My last visit was in the summer of last year. I reconnected with Joe's parents and showed him a song that I'd written, simply entitled For Joe. We cried together, reminisced together, joked, and I'm proud to say that I gave Joe's mum enough money to afford a caravan she told me she'd been saving up for. I felt pretty good. We'd also do a fundraiser for the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, who were integral for searching for Joe during that time, and we raised a pretty good amount of money too. Being able to give back in whatever small way I could felt good, and it felt right for all the years Joe had made us all laugh till it hurt. He was a solid person, just a little lost, as we all are sometimes. And I miss him. Life was about to take an even more unusual turn, and I was about to meet the first angel of this story. So stay tuned for that.
If you've been getting spam
hold on.
texts like these, it was me.
Is it over or he just taking a break?
I think he plays the song.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
The one he played for his mom.
Oh, sorry.
Oh
I hate seeing people about to cry.
yeah. I know. It's tough. I've seen that one a few times though, so I'm a little more used to it these days.
Yeah. Huh. So he kind of barely got into the sickness part, right? He just touched on it so far.
Yeah, because there's a lot that comes, like, because he spans over 8 years, so this was just like, I don't know, the very beginning, I guess.
Yeah, it is impressive. I've never heard that one before, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Anyone who's here, if you showed up late, the KUJO beatdown part that was over a while ago, it's in the beginning. But everybody here, just so you know, I'm going to be doing the rest of his chapters. He has 7 more, and I'll be doing them intermittently throughout the week. But I think we covered KUJO's beatdown for the most part. I mean, at least off of 1 or 2 listens. Anything else you got to say about it?
No. I just think it was straightforward and just awesome. Like, it's for sure going on my playlist.
Yeah, 100%. That's a gym one for me. I'm just gonna envision the girlfriend, not in a good way.
Song.
All right, everybody. I appreciate y'all coming in. Go subscribe to Lacey's channel, Lacey Media Productions. If you're not subscribed to mine, subscribe to that. You're here. Just hit the button. And if y'all want to watch Ren's chapters with me, just keep a lookout on the channel, and we'll be there. But y'all have a good night, everybody. Peace.